Vic. They're both part of
Oh.
Project Spurs, as I am myself. So, Vicky, she's joining us for the very first time. It's a pleasure to have a female perspective on the show because usually it's just me, Jonas, Steven, Wesley, or we have Ben in here. So it's nice to have the female perspective for once.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Uh, and then we have a regular here, Jonas Clark. Jonas, it's a sad day, man. It's the last day of the season, last game of the season. Spurs wind up dropping one Utah Jazz, and before they even hit the court, we already knew that their fate had been sealed.
Um,
Get any help from the Grizzlies, and they didn't get any help from the Suns. So, unfortunately for us, it spelled nothing but doom.
yes.
But I got to ask you, Vicky, since getting you on here,
Yes.
what have you thought about this team? And you can even let me know as far as your thoughts as far as what happened during the regular season. Then we had the
Right.
hiatus, and how the teams look to you now, and in this NBA restart in the bubble.
Yeah. I was very impressed watching them come out. Um, as you all know, the regular season, the very beginning started out looking like there was some hope. They looked kind of good the first couple of games, and then I can't remember what game it was, who they fell to back in October or November, and then from there it was just like this downward spiral of terror, I guess. And at that point, I kind of just was thinking that this was going to be the fate of the season. Um, and when the season ended, or when they took the break back in March, I was thinking the same thing. They were not in any shape to be heading into the playoffs in a couple of months. Um, so when they were coming back into the restart, I was sort of expecting to see the same thing. I didn't really think that we were going to see such drastic changes in the lineups and the rotations. But it was something that everybody has been asking for, I guess, throughout the whole season. People wanted to see these players playing together on the court. They wanted to see these lineups, these rotations. And it wasn't until these games that we finally got to see it. And we saw the potential, which was awesome. And for me, I mean, it's a sad day because, yeah, the playoff streak ended. But I mean, I'm really hopeful. I think that everyone's been begging for a rebuild. And this whole time I was thinking, I think they are rebuilding. They just haven't really shown us those other options. They had really good um, players in their back pocket that they weren't taking out to play. So I feel like this was really good for them. It was a good opportunity for the young guys to gain growth and develop, like Pop said he wanted to do. And I think it's good that they got so close and didn't make it because that's a chip that they're going to carry on their shoulder. They can use it for motivation, and hopefully it'll bring them into playoff contention next year without having to fight for it like they had to this year.
Yeah, no doubt. It was tough. Spurs dropped one to the Jazz tonight, 118 to
Yeah.
112. We're disappointed. Everybody is, but you go back and everybody was blaming DeJounte Murray for the 76ers loss, and we didn't
Yeah.
make the playoffs because it was DeJounte's fault, and it's not his fault.
No.
The Spurs had games that they could have easily won going back to the regular season,
Exactly.
and they didn't
Exactly.
capitalize on those. Now they have this shortened, bubble play that they come back to. They have to win out basically, to have a
Hmm.
shot. And you're going to drop some close games. It happens.
Right.
And it's like I was telling Jonas too. The Spurs fans have been clamoring for this inflection of youth. We
Yes.
want to see the young players out there. Well, they got to see
Right.
that playing along veterans. Really exciting to see. We're like, whoa, where has this team been? They
Yes.
show us something. We're all excited to watch them play. But then along with the youth comes the experience. And yes, they
Right.
did drop two games that they maybe could have won. But that happens when you
Right.
have these younger players out there. Regardless
Exactly.
what happened today, the 20 plus years of the Spurs going into the playoffs comes to an end. But we like what we're seeing out there on the court. So regardless of what happens, I'm proud of this team. You know?
Yes.
While I'm
Yep.
sad, I'm still proud of this team. So, Jonas,
Definitely.
let us know your thoughts, man, because I know you've been watching this team since the beginning of the season, and you've been in the heated arguments defending your boys out there on the court. So, I mean, give me your thoughts, and as far as the season and the NBA restart in the bubble.
Joe, heated arguments defending my boys on the court and the ones that weren't out there. Oftentimes, in terms of why Luka wasn't out there, why Keldon wasn't out there, and getting some serious run. So I was at first caught up in the feelings, for sure, about the 22-year run coming to an end and what that means. But it had to happen at some point. And if this would have happened 2 years ago, everything would have felt like it was the end of the world. But when you look at where this team is now, you can see the glimpses into the future for a lot of these kids, that will be the face of our franchise moving forward. We're really not tied to any one veteran at this point. DeMar DeRozan, who is widely considered our all-star by the media and everything else like that, is his future's in his own hands, whether he wants to stay here or not. There's a lot of valid reasons that we've seen now for trading LaMarcus Aldridge. But if you have this conversation in February and March, back in January and everything about maybe trading LaMarcus Aldridge, my question, I always heard it, but my question was, how do you replace his production? Well, Pop answered that in the NBA bubble. And what that is it's stellar guard play, it's team defense, and it's pace, 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 um, which really allowed this offense to flourish, and I think gave them opportunities to remain in games that we probably shouldn't have been in, especially late in terms of the Sixers and the Nuggets game, and really every game this entire stretch, because it's come down to the final 30 seconds for the majority of it. So uh, I'm happy. I feel good. So it's I don't want to say goodbye to 22 years really quickly, like cutting off an arm and tossing it in the trash and saying I'm fully blind to this moving forward. But at the same time, I feel very excited. Luka Šimanić, you guys know I've been hard on him, because of what he represents, and I still believe he has a lot of developing to do. But I've been pushing for seeing him even in some garbage time, just because I wanted to evaluate where he was at. So I got brought out of my just sorrows of the 22-year end by seeing him inserted immediately into the starting lineup. That got me energized more than anything, uh, and it made this game a lot easier to watch. 31 minutes for the rookie there. Uh, he showed a lot we want to see. I thought that Derek White not being out there, Patty not being out there, this team might not shoot as well from three, and we hit 50%. So that's arguments to shoot more. 10 of 20, not beautiful, but I'll take it. So all in all, not a bad day, Joe. Not a bad day at all.
It wasn't a bad day, but still disappointed. We wanted to see them go even further. And just, I'm going to go ahead and go, I guess, over the stats of the night, for one last hurrah. Kind of bittersweet here, looking at everything that's transpired as of today, because we saw a different lineup. We got to see Luka Šimanić and, enter the game right away. The starting lineup playing again. Walker, Jakob Portal, he was playing with DeJounte Murray, Keldon Johnson. And for all intents and purposes, this is the lineup of the future, so it was good to see them out there right off the bat. It made everybody get really excited about what they were going to see out there on the court. Keldon Johnson played 30 minutes, 24 points. DeJounte Murray, 36 minutes, 12 points. Jakob Portal, 21 minutes, 10 points. Luka Šimanić, 31 minutes, 16 points. Couldn't be prouder of the kid, man. A lot of Spurs fans have given him a lot of flack as of late, being real critical of him. He still needs some time to develop, but he's showing you guys that he can still play basketball, so you all need to be a little bit more kinder to Luka. Give him some time. Lonnie Walker, 34 minutes, 15 points on the night. Marco Beninelli, 29 minutes, 16 points. That's never a good stat in my eyes because Marco blocked me. I don't like him very much. I was blocked by association after I was nothing but nice to Marco. So that's my only pet peeve of Marco for the season. Shemezi Metu, 26 minutes, 10 points on the night. And we had Q, Quindary Weatherspoon, whopping 3 minutes. He had 1 point. I wish he would have played more. Maybe sit Marco and give the minutes to Q and let him ball out and get some experience out on the court. But that's just me being nitpicky. Other than that, that's pretty much what happened on the night because we just had the young guys out there on the court, which shows you the future is bright for the San Antonio Spurs. And I got to come back and I got to say one more thing here. And I'm going to go in and pitch to you, Vickie. In your opinion, coming into this bubble, what player has really stood out to you? We know that the easy grab is going to be Keldon Johnson, because it's really easy for everybody to choose Keldon. But beyond Keldon, who has really stood out at you?
Well, Joe, I think, of course, Keldon, like you said. Derek White was consistent and improved, of course, on his threes, which was that was pretty impressive because I don't know when he had the time to do that, not really being in the practice facility that much. But who really stood out to me was actually Drew Eubanks. We had seen him a couple of times, and then of course, he's been a two-way player, had his stint in the G League and stuff. But I really was impressed with the way that he's super athletic in the paint, getting the boards and finishing those second chance opportunities in ways that I was really disappointed with Pirtle for not doing, because Pirtle has the size and he just doesn't jump. So that's something that I was really disappointed with.
You mean he
so
doesn't dunk the ball, Vickie? Don't
yes,
mix
he
words.
doesn't dunk. He doesn't dunk. He doesn't dunk. And so that was super frustrating, but it was like a breath of fresh air whenever Eubanks would come in, and it was like this like fire and really like this desire to finish at the rim that we weren't seeing. And then especially since we were out other big men, we didn't have Marcus. So yeah, Eubanks really stood out to me. And then of course, I like seeing the developments from Lonnie Walker. I think he's developing pretty well, and he's still on the upward trend. So that's something that I'd keep looking out for within the next few years.
And I also have to tell you one thing too, and I'm going to get your opinion before we go and pitch to Jonas, because I'm sure he has a lot to say. I got to say too, like some of the veterans kind of surprised me. You had Rudy Gay, who was looking very old before the hiatus. Then he comes back and with the NBA restart over in the Orlando bubble, and he's looking solid. It's like, okay, Rudy, you can still play, you can still ball.
Yeah,
so
definitely. I was gonna, yes. Now that you say Rudy, I want to comment on that because at the very beginning of the restart in the scrimmage games, I knew they weren't trying too hard or whatever, but I remember making this comment like, I feel kind of like Rudy Gay is like the Dennis Rodman of the Spurs right now. Like he could just get up and leave whenever he wants. And I meant Dennis Rodman in the sense that I just watched The Last Dance and he left during like the finals or whatever that was. So I remember making that comment. And then after that game, he started going like crazy and shooting all these threes and getting us back into, I guess it was the Sixers game when he first really like started getting us back into the game. And I was like, okay, I take that back. He's still showing some spirit and dedication to the team. So I guess I had to cut him some slack. And he did. I mean, he really did a lot for them in a way that I think they needed the veteran leadership from him.
Yeah, so Vickie has to rescind her Rudy Gay hatred. So I like it. I had to do the same thing, Vickie. I'm not going to lie, because I gave Drew Eubanks, like I wrote him off. I was like, man, we need to get rid of this guy. He's a scrub. And then he made me eat my own words because now he was shelling out here in the bubble. So I'm like, like that meme where they show Homer Simpson going back into the edges. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Drew.
Yeah, that was me.
Apologize.
That was me with Rudy.
Sorry, Drew. I like you, Drew. Good player. So, Jonas, I know he has a lot, not only the youth and the players that stood out to you, Jonas, as far as the go, but as far as the veterans, too, I mean, what do you got to say about their play over here in the Orlando bubble?
Joe, I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but I'm not going to name a player. I'd like to give my surprise of the bubble to Coach Popovich because he was faced with having to run a small ball lineup through this entire stretch. And you look at the teams that we had on the lineup. So we had Jonas Valanciunas with Memphis. You had Joel Embiid. You had two run-ins with the Jazz and Rudy Gobert, and you had Nikola Jokic with the Nuggets. That was my one worry when we got into this whole thing was going to be size. Can we size up with them losing LaMarcus and losing Trey? And Pop showed a willingness to adapt his coaching style. Um, One thing was that was very noted during this season was that while we were efficient from three, we didn't shoot enough threes, and you just saw the the willingness for Pop to let the kids go out there and put it up there. And he even had a quote the other week where he said, "I want Derek White shooting more threes. If he's gonna hit at a 40% plus clip, 47%, I want him shooting more. He's not shooting enough at this point." So I'd like to give my surprise of the NBA bubble to Coach Popovich. Everybody was ready to write him off. The last 2 years, we've been hearing he's too old. He can't adapt to the modern NBA. We're going to have a very young roster coming up. How is he going to be able to impact these guys and coach them up? And you saw it. You saw it. 5-3 through an eight game stretch in the NBA bubble. And he got DeMar DeRozan to buy into a secondary role and to be a fourth quarter savior. Yes, he found an extra dose of Manu's grandpa juice to give to Rudy Gay there, and unlocked what he could do. And then Keldon Johnson. How many? And it's not just. I mean, Keldon's a great player. Seen that the entire season in Austin, right? But the coaching moments where he would and the camera caught a handful of them, but I don't think it caught all of them. Where it's a free throw opportunity for us or the other team, and he has Keldon over there, and he's in his ear, coaching him up, and then you see him respond, react, take what he learned from Pop during that moment, that coaching moment, and then go out and make a play that made a difference in the game. Not maybe in the result of the game, but in that moment, whether it was an extra hustle on defense or an extra drive to the basket and take control where he needed to take over. He got the guys to respond. That's a coach. That's a coach. This was not an easy opportunity by any means for the Spurs. You could see, you've seen the percentage numbers. I think we had maybe a 4 or 5% chance to advance to the bubble, and it came down to game number 8, and it took two other teams winning to knock us out. I think that we would have won tonight's game. You got to see what the youth could do and how they responded to his coaching tonight with a G League roster of guys against an NBA team and an NBA All-Star in Donovan Mitchell. I understand they didn't have Gobert out there, but that's still a lot of talent. And this is a playoff team. And you took them all the down to 48 minutes. So Coach Popovich, you're the surprise of the bubble. Please come back next year.
So Jonas, you want Coach Pop back next year. I want Coach Pop back next year. I'm pretty sure Vickie wants Coach Pop here as well.
Yes, yeah, I do.
I think Vickie might cry if Coach Pop retires.
I would
Right?
definitely cry.
It'd be like your grandpa retiring or leaving or something, right?
Yes. Yeah, no, I couldn't deal with that.
We need a shirt that says something like "Coach Pop is my real." I would wear that. I would rock that shirt. Coach Pop is my grandpa. Well, I'm going to go ahead and shout out to some of the people here that are joining us. Jay Rodriguez from Facebook. What's up, Jay? Thank you so much for joining us. He says, "Go Spurs, go." How do y'all know anything about Nikola Multinov? Y'all think he is ever coming to the Spurs? I don't. Is. I mean, I got to be honest with you. Anything can happen. Anything's a possibility, but I don't see. What about you, Vickie?
I have to say the same. I feel like it's just been too long. We've left him, developing, I guess, but I don't know. It's going to get to a point where it just doesn't fit. Like, who was it? Scola,
Yeah.
who we had for years and years and just never utilized. So that's kind of disappointing, but
Is what it is on that end. Jonas, we
exactly.
have a question here from Jason Salinas. He says, how did they determine who played in the bubble? He says, love to have played the Suns and Blazers. I guess that's what he was saying as far as the scheduling goes. He would have loved to see Spurs play the Suns and the Blazers.
I guess everything hindsight's 2020, but I guess I'm really happy we didn't have the Suns or the Blazers. As far as the Blazers, they've shown they're a more complete team than what lots of people want to give them credit for. This was a down year in terms of expectations. They found themselves lower in the playoff bracket and then in the seeding than they would have liked to have, and where many would have expected to see them. I think we normally see them in that upper 5 echelon as opposed to just outside of it. And there's a reason why the sports world is shocked about the Suns going 8-0 too. So as far as how the seeding in terms of putting together a schedule was put together, I'm not 100% sure about that actually. If I had to guess, I would say that they looked more at the remaining schedule for everybody and then tried to give you a comparatively even opportunity down the stretch, as even as they could. They can't give you the Grizzlies every night, but even the Grizzlies were fighting all the way to the end here tonight. Or you can't face Sacramento 8 games in a row. Nothing against the Sacramento fans. They had a valiant, I guess, effort, but that your guess would be as good as mine there. But to name drop the Blazers and the Suns as teams you would have liked to have seen in the bubble, knowing what we know now, I can't go down that road with you.
Yeah, so I kind of on the fence with you there. It would have been nice to see the matchup, but I think we all would have pretty much know what would have happened at that juncture, and it would have gotten out of hand pretty quickly. Who's gonna stop Dame Dollar? Really, man? Come on now, can't stop that guy. He was on fire.
Hey, Derek White could NBA bubble.
I don't
Derek
know, man.
White, that man played at like a kid possessed. And hopefully we would have gotten him before the Clippers provoked him to this god level that he's playing at the last 2 games. Hopefully we would have gotten him sooner, but I truly believe Derek White could have handled him. And that might even be a sub for sub kind of deal where Pop sees the Blazers sub out, Dame, then we're taking out Derek just to make sure he's fresh to take him on every time. I think that we probably play better defense as a team down the stretch, but yeah, I think we could have competed. I'm not saying we would have won that matchup, but I'm gonna say Dame's not going off for 40 against the Spurs.
It would have been fun to watch, no doubt, but like we said, I think we all pretty much know the outcome of those matchups, those games. I want to shout out to Alexander Mesquite. He's always tuning in on Periscope. I want to say thank you so much. Appreciate everybody who's tuning in right now and watching us on the live stream and commenting. We appreciate every single one of you guys. We couldn't do the show without you, so your interaction and just you taking the time to, watch the show and interact with us and give us your feedback. It's instrumental, man. We really appreciate you guys. And thank you so much for being here and watching the Spurs Takeover after games as we've done this throughout the season. It's fun to have these discussions and talk Spurs basketball with you, the fans, and see your reactions, and sometimes everybody's in a bad mood because the team lost. And then other times when we win, everybody's ready to go honking down Commerce. I was ready to go honking down Commerce. I'm not going to lie, Vickie. I was wanting to put Jonas in the car with me. If they would have won this game, I told him I wanted to take him honking, but Jonas says, no, bro, I don't want to go because I want to save it if they win a playoff game. I'm like,
Title or nothing.
Yeah, I know. I saw some people on Twitter saying that too, and I was like, I want to.
Yeah. One of the things too that we did promise is because Benjamin Cardenas Jr., he actually was gracious enough to sponsor a giveaway that we're going to be having during this show. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show you something real quick. Give us some autographed picture of one DeMar DeRozan.
That's a summer league Lonnie Walker in an 18 jersey.
That sure got us. Eric White. Authentic. And thank you so much for Benjamin for sponsoring the giveaway. So what we're going to wind up doing is we're going to do the giveaway in 2 parts. The first part is everybody who's watched the stream, interacted with us. We appreciate you, and we appreciate you so much that we're going to go ahead and we're going to have like a raffle kind of, so to speak. We're just going to put everybody's names in a pot here, and we're going to go ahead and name a winner. So after this stream is done, we're going to do another where we're going to give awards away. So we're going to have Spurs awards for the entire season on another live stream that we're going to do, and we're going to choose our winners. We're going to go ahead and choose a winner from this particular stream on the next stream that we do. We're going to just get everybody's names that joined and interacted with us, put it in a pot, and right off the bat, we're going to pick a winner, and we're going to go ahead and send you one of these pictures. So we're going to figure out the order in which the pictures are going to be given away. And if you all come and interact with us, because we're going to put a Twitter poll and stuff out there as far as, your takes for Spurs awards for the season, like who's our MVP, who's our sixth man of the year, who's our most improved player, and I don't know, maybe we'll have a category of least like Spurs. I don't know. That'll be a tie between Bryn and Marco. I got to say, Jonas.
Hey.
Just keeping it real. Just keeping it real.
You keep that Bryn slander out your mouth, boy.
Yeah, but
wash that out with soap.
But we're gonna wind up giving out an autograph picture to one of you guys out here that are always interacting with us. So that's gonna be fun. Maybe we can have Vickie return for that other show.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, we can
see who wins.
We can have your awards. We can have Spurs awards and stuff. Maybe we can make like little trophies or something. We'll find something, right?
Oh yeah.
Vickie's all excited now. She's gonna draw little pictures on them. Right? We'll have a Razzie Award for least like Spurs, stuff like that. That'll be fun.
Are we going to have a guest host raffle, too, where we put the guest host names into a raffle and we get one of these autographs?
I don't know. Maybe I'll think about it. But it's all for the fans. I can get you one, Jonas, if you want one. I'm going
to go ahead and set up a KD account, and I'm going to hop here into the chat and start messaging the feed.
We'll send you one. You know what we're going to send you? We're going to send you an autographed picture of Steven Anderson. A headshot of Steven.
I would take that one. Put that right above my sink every morning so I can see aspirations as to how good I want to look that day.
I want to get you an autographed picture of Steven with the disco lights behind him that drive Michael De Leon nuts. I always tell him you should just let him flash and strobe the whole time while we're doing the stream, just to pick on Michael. Oh, anyway, it's fun. Well, we're gonna go ahead and start bringing the show to an end. But before we start bringing it to an end, again, we just want to say thank you guys for all your support. We really appreciate every single one of you guys. And also make sure that you also check out all the great content from our friends who we are partnered with at Project Spurs. So make sure you go to projectspurs.com to check out all the great content they have from, all the great journalists out there, including Vickie. You have Jonas, you have, Benjamin Bornstein. You also have Steven Anderson, Paul Garcia, just to name a few of the journalists out there who write great articles and have great insight in everything and anything that has to do with the San Antonio Spurs. So make sure you go ahead and support and check them out. And Vickie, where can they interact with you on social media?
They can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Vickie Vix.
Like the Vicks, like the one I put on my chest?
Forget.
Like the one I put on my chest when I was a kid?
Vix. I have to make sure my name.
Oh, my.
The Vickie Vix. Oh, my gosh. I always forget it.
Just use the Vicks. Just take the X out and put VICKS.
No. Because then it'll be like Vicks vapor
Yes,
rub.
yeah, the vapor rub that I used to put on my chest when I was little, when I couldn't
The
breathe.
Vickie Vicks. Oh my gosh.
There you go.
How can I find it? Because I'm on my phone right here, so
Oh,
I
let me
don't know.
see. Let me look you up, Vickie. Go ahead and tell
Yes,
everybody.
please.
You always do this, Vickie. You did this
I
last time
do.
with Steven too.
I know.
Like, Vickie,
I
give
need
your
to.
Twitter handle. I don't know what it is.
I
Okay.
forget it.
I already looked up Vickie's Twitter handle.
Yeah.
You can follow Vickie at the capital THE capital VICKIE Vix
Yes.
capital VIX. The Vickie Vix. You can follow her on
Yes.
Twitter. And
Yay.
make sure to follow her, and she likes to go ahead and talk about everything involving the world of sports and also the San Antonio Spurs. So we have to, like, maybe next time we'll put like a lower third or something. It'll pop up. It'll be like in big letters, Vickie Vix.
Yes.
Yes, there you go.
I'll write it out next time and make
You
sure
should.
to.
That would be fire, Vickie.
Yes.
Make like a little postie or something. You can hold it up. You know.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
it. I like it.
I'll do that.
And Jonas, where can they reach you on social media and interact with you?
Well, Joe, if you're on Twitter, do you want to read mine too?
I can. I'm on Twitter.
Yeah, go for it, man. I think you got it. It is Jarclonus. There you go. JARKCLO.
I looked up Jonas's. You can follow Jonas Jonas Clark. You got me saying it all. At Jarclonus, which is JARKCLONAS. And Jonas is a big fan of Lord of the Rings and anything medieval. Like, he's all into that medieval stuff. So if you want to talk sports or you want to get into some of the nerd jargon with Jonas, he's here for it. Make sure you go and hit him up, and also give him a follow on Twitter as well. And let me just read some of these other comments that come in. Manny Jimenez, joining us from Periscope, says, great season. Yes, it was a great season. Frank Ramirez, thank you so much for always supporting and always interacting with us. He says, no problem, #1 Spurs fan out in Orange County, California. Represent from Cali. I used to live in Cali when I was a kid, so I got a lot of love for Cali. Jason Salinas, Vickie Vix sounds like an 80s San Antonio pop singer. Oh, no. Vickie,
I'm the Robin Sparkles of San Antonio.
Maybe you should dress up as Jem for the next one.
Yeah.
Put on the glitter wig and everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
The high pony.
Somebody says my audio's cutting in and out. Maybe because I'm talking too loud. This is Chris. Chris Galler is joining us. He says, your audio's cutting in and out. Sorry. It's probably because I was talking too loud. Well, anyway, we're going to go ahead and bring the show to an end. I think we've had too much fun already. So for Vickie Vix with the X, EIX, not EICKS, and Jonas Clark, Joe Garcia, thank you guys for watching another episode of the Spurs Takeover. We appreciate you guys. Great season. We look forward to next season. And like we always say, spread the love, stop the hate, and be kind.